Good morning, everyone. I'm Tracy Cleveland, the Napa County Agricultural Commissioner and Sealer of Weights and Measures. Welcome to our Emergency Ag Pass Information Program. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to watch this online session. The information is incredibly important, and you're going to hear a lot of great information from our partners, including our UC Livestock Advisor, our County Sheriff, and our Fire Chief. So let's jump right in. So what is the Ag Pass program? We've literally defined it on this slide. Napa County's Emergency Ag Pass program is a system that we developed that allows vetted commercial agricultural producers to perform essential farming activities. And typically these essential farming activities are, of course, during a disaster and involve being behind a road closure. We developed the Ag Pass program in 2017 in direct response to the Tubbs, Atlas, and Nuns fire as a way to help growers that had not completed wine grape harvest prior to the start of those fires. The Ag Commissioner's Office collaborated with county officials, including law enforcement, county council, and fire, to develop a verification process to help identify agricultural producers with farms and ranches in those fire areas and to help escort them behind road closures. The Ag Pass program was again reestablished and further evolved during the 2020 Glass Fire and LNU Lightning Complex fires. And over time and with feedback that we received, it helped shape the program that we have today. So multiple fires in a short amount of time, we recognized that we had a need for a permanent annual program. So we transitioned from a reactive program to a proactive program, issuing passes in 2021, 2022, as well as 2023 ahead of fire season to avoid some of the challenges that we experienced in 2020. It's important to mention there's legislation that passed in October of 2021, AB 1103, which established a county livestock Ag Pass program in order to grant livestock producers access to their ranch property for essential work during a natural disaster. This legislation also requires the development of a training program and a curriculum. And it's actually a 4-hour training program from the state fire marshal. So that's still in the works. And additionally, there is new legislation to expand AB 1103 from a livestock Ag Pass program to include general agriculture. So that's still in the works. Stay tuned for updates and information on that, which may change our program regionally in Napa County to some extent to adhere to whatever the law requires. So some Ag Pass basics. Ag Passes are used as documentation that verifies your status as a commercial ag producer. And it's verifying that to law enforcement personnel at road closures during disaster events. And the Ag Pass itself consists of 2 types of documents. The Ag Verification Card, which is the front page, and that essentially has the who, what, where, when, and why. And the second piece is the verification document, which is specific to the kind of producer that you are, which I'll touch on more later. So some more basics. The Ag Pass does not grant automatic access beyond a road closure. All it does is verify that an individual is a commercial ag producer with a legitimate need to perform essential ag activities at a site located inside the disaster zone. And it's incredibly important. If law enforcement determines that an area is a hard closure and not accessible, then access can and will be denied to anyone possessing an Ag Pass and any non-essential personnel. So let's talk about essential ag activities. Essential ag activities are of an immediate emergency nature. And so those kinds of activities qualify. Things like routine work, checking on your property, checking on domestic animals or irrigating landscape. Those are not essential ag activities that we would issue an ag pass for. So essential ag activities would include things like harvesting your ag commodity, commercial agricultural irrigation, tending to livestock, feeding, watering, evacuating, potentially processing wine grapes. Those are essential ag activities. Any abuse of an ag pass will result in revocation of the current ag pass by the ag commissioner's office or law enforcement, and ultimately removal from the program. So it's incredibly important to be respectful, patient, and understanding at road closures. Remember, sheriffs have the final say, law enforcement has the final say, and it's important to be cautious and to follow up and track your employees' whereabouts. So let's talk about the 4 emergency ag pass types. There are 4 types, which essentially defines who is eligible for an ag pass. So grape growers, wineries licensed by Planning, Building, and Environmental Services, commercial livestock producers, and then some other ag businesses. We cannot issue ag passes for third-party contractors like farm labor contractors, landscapers, etc. However, as the business or owner, you have the ability to essentially contract with a third party that may be providing you help with those essential ag activities. So you can share copies of your ag pass, but it's very specific. And again, we'll talk more about that. So let's touch on grape growers. Anybody who currently possesses a valid Op ID or restricted material permits with our office that has at least 1 active site is eligible for an ag pass. Unlike the other types of commercial producers, operator ID and restricted material permit holders have already been vetted and verified by our department and do not need to submit an ag pass application. So if you've come into our office and you've renewed your operator ID or RMP for the year, then you already have access to your ag pass for 2023. All you need to do is log into your CalAg Permits website and print it. So wineries is an additional type of ag pass, and we're talking about licensed wineries only. So you have to possess all of the required permits through, Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau. There's a number of different types of permits. And especially for us, we are working extensively with the Napa County Planning, Building, and Environmental Services Department. So they've vetted all of the county licensed wineries. And so they've provided us with a list of winery facilities that are legitimate wineries. And so that's what we're working from as we issue ag passes to interested wineries. Custom crushes, alternating proprietorships, and other similar operations cannot obtain an ag pass from our department. You, as a winery, if you need an ag pass, you would submit an application, which is available through our website. We will vet it. We'll review the information that you've included in your application, and we will respond directly to the applicant via email, and we'll send back a verification card, which you can fill out, as well as the verification document, which would be the county approval letter. Commercial livestock producers, again, also able to access an ag pass. They would fill out a request via the link on our website. This does not apply to domestic livestock owners. So anyone with a handful of goats or chickens or a cow that is not in a commercial capacity, we cannot issue a livestock ag pass. But you do have access to Napa Cart for Assistance, which is a wonderful organization. So if you're not familiar with it, I suggest you go on their website and make contact with them. They have a ton of resources for folks that might need help and have animals that they need to be concerned with during an emergency. So again, for livestock producers, the application is required. You issue it online. We will review your application. We work extensively with our UC livestock advisor, Morgan Doran, prior to issuing an ag pass. We will email the applicant directly with a verification card if they're approved, as well as the UC county approval letter. And that is your verification document, which you will attach to your ag pass. And then finally, other ag businesses include registered organic producers, certified producers, can be registered beekeepers. So if you think you fall into one of these categories, fill out your request via our link on the website, submit the application, we will review it. And if we approve it, again, we'll email directly to you, the applicants, the verification card, as well as a county approval letter. So this is an up close shot of our ag pass verification card. It changed a little bit from the 2022 year. So I wanted to touch on some of these areas because we get a lot of questions about it. So we're looking to have only one location and address per verification card. So if you have multiple locations in a disaster zone that you're trying to access, then you will fill out a verification card for each one of those sites. So again, like I said, each location or address requires its own verification card. Every verification card has to be accompanied by the verification document. So if you're a grower, a grape grower, you have a copy of your op ID or your permit. And so you will attach that to your ag pass. It's important that you print the name and cell phone number of the actual individual that is using the ag pass at a roadblock. So this section that says ag pass user, that is the ag pass holder. And every person that is requesting passage has to have their own verification card with their name and cell phone number listed. And we ask that it is a cell phone number in the event that there needs to be access to those folks. So any ag worker, person, manager, anyone attempting passage through road closures has to have an ag pass in their possession. So if 4 people are in one car, then all 4 people have to have their own ag pass. And it's really, really important, and I can't stress enough, plan accordingly and only send the minimum number of people necessary to safely complete the essential activities at hand. Law enforcement does not want or need large numbers of people inside a disaster zone, as it increases the chances of interference with actual emergency operations. So here is another close-up of the bottom part of our ag pass verification card. So verification documents, and that's going to vary depending on the type of commercial agriculture that you are engaged in. So if you are a grape grower, then you're going to check off the op ID number or restricted material permit. If you are a commercial beekeeper, then you're going to check off that beware registration, which you've done through our website. If you are a winery or a livestock producer, you're going to check off, the box that's specific to you. And then the bottom part, the ag pass applicants, that should be someone that has the authority to take the responsibility for making important decisions within your organization. So that could be the property owner, that could be the manager, or someone else with that authority. And that ag pass applicant, that signature should be the same on every iteration of an ag pass that you have. So the ag pass user, the first part that we looked at on the last slide, that's specific to the pass holder and user. And then the applicant is the person that is applying for your business. So here's some common questions that we receive. And I have to say that we have a really helpful and very thorough FAQ that's available on our AgPass website, and I encourage everyone to go there to look at it. But here are a handful of questions that we've gotten, so we answer them thoroughly, but there are a number of pages probably covering any question that you might have. So what do I write for name of applicant on my AgPass? Is it my name as an individual or the name of my winery or PCB that I'm an employee of? So the person who signs should be the property owner, manager, or someone with the responsibility and authority to make important decisions for your organization and to accept liability if something were to happen. So yes, please also include the name of the business as it appears in your verification document. The next question, number 2. What if I have multiple people who need to access a property with me? Do they each need to apply for an ag pass? No, we want one person to apply for the ag pass for one business or entity. The approved ag pass applicants can then make the number of pass copies that they need to for each of their essential personnel accessing road closures. Again, remember, they have to have their ag pass with them at all times. Number 3, the name and address of my winery listed on the PBES form is incorrect. We've come across that a handful of times. If you are looking to obtain an ag pass and you're a winery and you've submitted your application online, but you've been rejected by us, and perhaps it's because the name of the winery is incorrect, then you should reach out directly to Planning, Building, and Environmental Services to address it. They will help you fix that. We can't do anything on our end, but PBES is more than willing to help. And then finally, do we, the Ag Commissioner's Office, need a copy of your completed ag pass? We do not, but you do. So it's really important that you maintain those copies. You track what you're distributing to employees that are going to be potentially accessing properties, and they should be available to show to law enforcement personnel positioned at roadblocks. They're going to look at those. So we had some ag pass informational sessions in English and Spanish I want to say we did them in November and then in January of this past year. So those sessions are really important. For those of you that couldn't attend, we're providing this recorded copy of each of those speakers and presenters. And this is likely to change in time to adhere to whatever legislation passes through. But in the meantime, it's really important. You must attend this training. You must provide these informational sessions to each of your employees. And we will plan for future sessions later in the year. So finally, before an emergency, have a plan in place. It's so important. Don't wait until it happens. We're very good in Napa at dealing with emergencies. We've had plenty of them to deal with. So this is not new for anyone. So I'm sure most people are already thinking about that and have been planning for those things. So make sure that you do that. Attend an informational session. Watch these training videos that we're providing and make sure that you also provide them to your employees. Train your employees and consider giving them specific roles in the event of an emergency. And then, of course, during the emergency, be respectful, patient, understanding, and cautious. That concludes my presentation. If you have questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me or to my staff at the Napa County Ag Commissioner's Office. Please take a look at our website. We have a number of excellent resources. And if you are not a grower and not a restricted material permitted or OP ID holder, then you can apply for an ag pass as long as you fit into one of those categories. So for our wineries, our other ag producers, and our commercial livestock producers, you can apply online. Thank you.